Hi, Henry Cameron. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well, my
Birthday,
love.
birthday girl. How you doing?
Very well. I've recovered now.
Have you?
I'm getting to that age now, Henry Cameron. It takes me about half a week to recover from a night out,
What are
which is
you,
why I don't do it
25?
very often now.
What are you, 25 now? 26?
Oh, look at Nish being so smooth. Welcome. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Welcome, Juliet, as well. I think it's your first time. Thank you for coming. Okay, so I've realized I'm a little bit late actually starting this. I was having some issues with Zoom. You know what it's like. I needed to update, so it updated. But I'm gonna let the room run for another minute or so. If you just want to go into the chat and let me know what you'd like to gain from today's session, that would be extremely helpful. So if you just go and do that, and I'll see if there's anybody else who is looking to join us. There was a couple of people who said they were going to come, but if they're running late, I'll just have to keep an eye on the waiting room and hopefully be able to see them. How to get 5 stars? Absolutely, Nish, you're in the right place. You will know exactly. I have a formula that is so simple. When I show it to people, they kind of go, "Is that it?" Like, yes. And yet, if you follow this formula, people can't help but leave you 5 star reviews. Okay. And once you have this formula, you'll be able to apply it not just to your book, but to lots of different things as well. Okay, so let's get started because I don't want to keep you guys waiting for too long. And if anybody else joins us, hopefully I'll see them. So let me just get started. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, share my screen. So can you all see my slides? Excellent. Okay, so go on that. Let's get started. Here we go. Okay, so welcome to the Thought Leader Author Forum. I think apart from Juliet, you've all been before, so you'll know exactly the format it takes. But for the new people in the room, I'll just quickly go through what the forum looks like. So the forum is in 2 parts. Part 1 is we discuss the topic of the day. So today we're talking about my 3-step formula for book planning that garners 5 star reviews. It's something that I've been doing. I've written 8 books in total, 7 as a ghostwriter, 1 as an author. I'm about to publish my 48th, 49th, and 50th author by the end of the year. Keep your fingers crossed for me. I'd love to hit 50 before the end of 2024. That's my goal anyway. So I've done this quite a lot. And when you know what they say, what's that old saying? Repetition is the mother of all teachers, is it? I'm probably something like that. Yes. So, Alan, I'm getting, just to let you know, Alan, I've just muted you because I'm getting some sort of feedback, which is going to confuse me, and then I'm probably going to fall off my treadmill. So you don't want that. So I've just muted you, but don't worry. Once I've finished speaking, I'll unmute you so then you can join it. So yes, this is a 3-step formula that I've used, that all of my clients now use, and this is how we transform books from, yeah, it was a good read. Think of how many books you've read which you thought, yeah, that was a good read. Did you leave a review for them? Probably not. To, oh my God, I have to leave a review. Okay, so I will show you what the 3-step formula is. And then part 2, my favorite bit of the forum, that is when I start taking questions. So this is when you can ask me questions about your specific scenario. If you're already an author, you can give me some feedback. Have you used some of this? Did you wish you knew this when you wrote your book? Let me know, because the more you interact, the more you help others and the more you help yourself. Okay, right. So, and also, just for coming today, you will receive this workbook tomorrow. My assistant Joycey, who is in the crowd right now, she will send you this. Usually it's about, I would say, mid-morning to early afternoon when she sends out UK time. So if we're in the US, you will get it early on in the morning. And as you can see, this is a fillable PDF. So you'll get the formula and you can actually fill in your ideas into this workbook. So it's really, really powerful because you can actually, it'll help you structure your book. So if you've already written a book, you can actually see how you could have made it better and maybe create a second edition or a third edition. It happens. If you're yet to write a book, you can use this to really help you structure your book. So you will get this workbook sent out to you just for attending. People who don't attend, they get the replay sent out to them, but they don't get the workbooks. The workbooks are purely for the people who, well, like me enough to turn up live. I like you guys. You actually, otherwise it's boring. I could actually just do this on my own. I could just, record some training, send it out. But there's something about being live with people that I really enjoy. So I appreciate the people who take the time to attend live. And because of that, you are rewarded with this workbook. Also, just for coming, you can pick one of these amazing courses and we will donate on your behalf just to thank you for coming. So let me actually put this into the chat now. This should be, where is it? There we go. So if I put this into the chat, so please do, all you have to do is just click on that link. It will take you to the screen and then just pick one of these impacts and that's it. It costs you nothing, doesn't cost you a penny, doesn't cost you a cent, but we will make a donation on your behalf just to thank you for coming to the forum. So let's get back here. Okay, so I ran a poll earlier on this week and I asked, have you ever left 5-star reviews for non-fiction books in the past? Now this, I'm so happy to see this, although I'm wondering if because I'm a book publisher, my audience is being slowly skewed. Because when I ran this poll about 3 months ago was the last time I ran this poll, only I think it was 46% had said yes. And a huge number of people have said no. Now we've got 80%, which is wonderful. However, I asked a few people and I thought, and they said, that seems unusually high. Most people don't leave reviews. And I wonder what's happening now is because I'm a book publisher, I'm known for what I do. Most people in my crowd are either authors who know how important 5-star reviews are. So they give 5-star reviews to other authors and they support their fellow authors, or people who are looking to write a book. So budding authors. So again, they are sensitive to that topic. And I think that's what's happening. I'm pretty sure if I ran this poll outside of my audience, it would probably flip over. It would probably be, yes, would probably around about 17%. And no would probably be about 80% because most people don't leave reviews. And that's not because all books are bad. There's probably been some good books, but think of all the books that you've read. Think of all the good books. Forget about the bad books. Of course, the bad books, you're going to be like, no, forget it. But think about the good books that you read. Can you honestly say you've given a review for each of the good books that you've read? Chances are you haven't, okay? Not everyone does because they get busy. They think, oh yeah, this was a really good book, but it takes time to think of a good review to give. So let's have a look at some of the comments that were left. So I've got Angela here says, I like to support other authors whose books have had positive impact on me. And I know how important and helpful those reviews can be for authors. Angela is one of my clients. She's got a publishing deal with Lantern Publishing over in the US, and her book is due to be published at some point in 2025. So no wonder Angela gives 5-star reviews. But the average person don't give many reviews. Nikki says, no, I guess I should be so I can spread the love more, as I often gotten a lot from these books. It's so true. I've read some fantastic books. I'm still thinking, I don't think I've left a review. And that's what most people like. It's not that they don't think your book is good enough. It's just that they get busy. So you need to make sure you have a book that isn't just good, but almost compels people to leave a review. So how can you do that? How can you compel people to leave positive reviews? How can you make it so that they almost feel bad if they don't leave a review? I know it sounds awful, but that's kind of what you want to aim for. You want people to almost feel bad that they're not leaving a review. So how do you do that? By understanding that people read non-fiction books to help them achieve something. This is very, very fundamental. I think sometimes non-fiction authors forget this. People read fiction, poetry, memoirs, autobiographies for fun, okay? Other non-fiction books, they're reading because they want something from it. Now, that doesn't mean you can just like, because some people say, oh, so do I not have to bother about making my book an enjoyable read. No, of course, you still need to make your book an enjoyable read, but you just need to understand fundamentally that people are not reading your book for fun. Even though it needs to be fun, that's not what they're reading it for. They're reading it because they want to achieve something. They want to go from, on the left-hand side, they're frustrated about something, or they're overwhelmed with something, or they feel unknowledgeable about something, to on the right-hand side of the screen, they feel like, yeah, I get this. I can do this. I'm empowered. That's why they read these things. And I think what a lot of nonfiction authors do is they forget that. They start off, yes, I want to help my audience, but then it all becomes about them. It's all about what they want to put into the book, as opposed to what does the reader, what does the reader need from me? And being fundamentally aware that they're not reading for fun. They're reading because they want something from you. So let me give you an example. This is a book. This is one of my clients at the moment. He's writing his book, and he researched this book. I always get all of my clients to go and find 3 to 5 books on their subject matter, so they can go and research what's good about those books, what's terrible about those books, what's missing in those books, so they can end up writing the best one in the market. Okay, this is fundamental. Again, a lot of first-time authors don't do that. They just write in a vacuum. No. You need to go and see what else is already out there in the market. So my client did this, and he found one of these. This is one of the biggest books. And this was a New York Times bestseller, sold, I think, tens of thousands of units. It's done in very, very well. And as you can see, nearly 2,000 5-star reviews. Okay, so you think, okay, this book is great, until you realize it actually isn't all that great. And the reason why it's got so many reviews is this guy, is his friends are best friends with Justin Bieber's friends and family. And he's, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's probably too small. You can just about see here. His foreword is written by Richard Branson. So you can see the kind of rarefied circles that this guy is traveling in. And ironically, his tagline or his subtitle for a book is How an Ordinary Person Can Create Extraordinary Change. And you will, it's quite funny reading the 1- and 2-star reviews of this book, because the people are saying, yeah, are you well connected with people who work at some of the top consulting firms in the country? Are you best buds with Justin Bieber? Are you wanting to start your own nonprofit? Great, and this book is for you. Adam might mean well, but this guy has no idea what the average Joe's life is like. Once I got to the part in the book where he disclosed how he's friends with Justin Bieber, I stopped reading and tossed the book in the goodwill pile. Oh dear. Okay. Again, somebody else saying, Adam Braun, you are not an ordinary person. You might be ordinary in your world, but for the vast majority of us, you're not ordinary. So the reason why this gentleman has got so many 5-star reviews is because he goes in circles where he can get loads of 5-star reviews. So average people like you and me, there's no way you would get this many reviews. In fact, most of the reviews, because this book, I've read it now, it's a good book, but it's a book that's really kind of boastful. Like, look at all these amazing things that I've done. It doesn't really give very many practical tips on how to set up a nonprofit. People who are reading this book, unless they're reading it because they know him and they just, then it's like a memoir and autobiography, which I suspect where he's getting most of his 5-star reviews from, because it's people that he knows and they're interested in his life. But if you're not a semi-famous person like him, then chances are he'll have mainly 1- and 2-star reviews, because his book is just about his life story and all these amazing things he's done around the world. It comes off slightly boastful. He's done amazingly well. He has done wonderful things for a lot of people around the world. So I'm not taking anything away from him. But the reason he's been able to do that is because of his connections, because he's been born into privilege and he's able to use his connections. And it's wonderful that he's using his connections for good. I don't want to take that away from him. But he's certainly not an ordinary person creating extraordinary change, put it that way. So he's got a lot of 1- and 2-star reviews because of that reason. Because people are saying, hey, I bought this book because I wanted to go from left to right. Left, I'm sick of this world. I feel like I want to do something, but I don't know how to even get started. To, on the right-hand side, I know exactly how to set up a nonprofit. I know exactly what kind of people I want to impact and I want to help. I know what I want to do with my life. That's what these people wanted to get from this book, and they weren't getting it from this book. Okay, so this is the formula that I use and that my clients use. It's a 3-step formula that pretty much compels people to leave a review. Why? Because they feel this. By the time they get to the end of the book, they're like, oh my God, it's like you switch a light bulb in them. And they go, I get it. I know I can do this now. And that is when people are compelled to leave 4 5-star reviews. Okay, so let me show you what the formula is. The formula is, first of all, number one, as a type of person, this is big one. A lot of people write for books like, oh, well, my advice can be for everybody. Okay, but you still need to aim your book for somebody. If you're trying to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. So your book needs to be for a specific group of people. That doesn't mean that other people can't join the party. You know, they're allowed to join the party, but you still need to focus on one group of people. It's very difficult. Think of like their motivations, the language and phrases that you'd use. How do you please everybody? You end up being a generalist then, and then you appeal to nobody because you're too general. So who is the type of person that you want to really impact? Who is your reader? Then number 2 is they need to know, be able to do something. That's the important thing. Remember, they're not reading for fun. Even though you want to make your book a pleasurable read, they're not reading these books for fun. They're reading these books because they want to know or be able to do something. What is it? What do they need to know or be able to do? They need to go from A to B. So imagine them. Meditate on it if you have to. Close your eyes and think on it. Where are they now? And where do you want them to be after reading your book? Give yourself finite points. Where are they now? What is A for them? And what would be B for them in an ideal world? And then number 3, so what benefit do they get from this? This is a big one. Have you ever read a book which was really, really good, but could have been done in about a third of the pages? And it just kind of waffled on and went round circles. And then that actually makes you think less of the book, even though the initial information is actually really, really good, because it then waffled on. This is what happens when authors don't use number 3. Whatever you put into your book, you need to think, what's the benefit to the reader? If there's no benefit to the reader, you're just adding it for ego now, because you wanted to add a story or you wanted to put something in. This is where most first-time authors go wrong. You are not the center of your book. Even if the book is about you, and it might sound really weird because like, but this book is about me and what I do, so I should be the center of the book. It's like, no, you can be, but I'd rather you weren't, because your reader will love you when you put them at the center of your book. So number 3 is really important. Whatever, so think, well, let's go through it again just to make sure you fully get it. Number 1, who is the type of person? Okay. Then number 2, what is it they need to know or be able to do? And then number 3, why do they need to know that? So what do they get? What benefit? You follow this formula and then you will make sure that everything that goes into your book, first of all, you're taking them on a journey from A to B. And also you make sure you never add any fluff. You literally will not, you physically can't add fluff. Because if you're constantly thinking, so what benefit does the reader get from me putting this into the book? If you can't articulate that, you have no business putting it in there. Get rid of it. You're just adding fluff. A lot of people, and I've had this from my clients, a lot of people think they know what fluff is. Here's the reality. You know what other people's fluff is. You don't know your own fluff. You think it's important. That's the problem. If you knew your own fluff, no one would add fluff to their books. And yet we all know this book's full of fluff. That's because the author didn't recognize that as fluff. They can see other people's fluff, but they can't see their own. That's why you need that final 3rd step. So what benefit is your reader going to get from you adding this into the book? So I always think it's easier to get your head around it if I can give you an example. So let me give you an example. And if this was me, so I am a book consultant. I help purpose-driven business owners and nonprofit leaders write books. So say I was going to write a book about how to write a book. Sounds very meta, but that's what I do. So let's say I'm going to write a book about how to write a book for purpose-driven business owners and nonprofit leaders. Okay. So my reader, my audience, my target audience will be a purpose-led budding author. So it'll be somebody who has an ethical business or is a sustainability practitioner, a B Corp founder, someone like that, a purpose-led budding author. What do they need to do? They need to write a book to inspire and change attitudes, turning me into a thought leader. That's why my clients come to me. They have a cause, they have a mission, and they want to write a book that genuinely inspires and changes attitudes and turns them into a sought after thought leader. Okay, that's what they want. So what's the reason? What's the benefit? So they can get more visibility for my mission and make a bigger impact. Okay, so that would be the overall idea for my book, if you think it was like a book outline or a book idea. But now this is where it gets really clever. You can now use the 3-step formula and allow it to structure your entire book. And when I show my clients this, they're always amazed. They're always like, is this it? So all I have to do is just sit there and I just need to think, how do I get my clients from A to B? It's like, yes, what other structure would you want? Because what most first-time authors do is they structure their book around them, what they want to say. Usually, I'll tell you what it is. It's usually chronological. They start with when they were at school and then they carry on with their lives. I'm like, so you're essentially writing a memoir now, aren't you? People are not interested in memoirs unless you're famous. So if you're famous, the biggest selling book, by the way, last year was Prince Harry's Spare. But people weren't reading Prince Harry's Spare to learn anything. They were just being nosy. They just wanted to know what was going on with him and Meghan and what happened with the royal family and oh my God. And that's what they wanted to know. So that's different. He's in a different league. If he was an ordinary guy, no one would be interested in his story. So with these kinds of books, you need to take yourself out of the middle and put your reader in the middle. And your reader is reading your book because they want to learn or know how to do something. So you can use the 3-step formula to then structure your entire book. So let me show you quickly how I did that. So let's go back to my example. My example was I'm writing a book on how to write a book for purpose-driven business leaders and ethical business owners. So as you can see right at the top, let me get my cursor so you can see. So at the top, this is my target audience. That stays the same, by the way, for the entire book. You don't change your audience halfway through your book. So it's a purpose-led business book author. But then you can see I'm following the next 2 steps and it's allowing me to structure my entire book and know exactly how to create the chapters of my book. So first of all, I figured out, well, the first thing they'll need to do is they need to know how to research their book. And why? What's the benefit there? I'm not going to tell them just to research the book for the sake of researching their book. Well, the reason why is they need to make sure the information they include in the book has guaranteed reader appeal. You don't want a book that's just full of fluff and people are not interested in reading it. What's the next thing they need to do? Again, very focusing on A to B. What is the next thing they need to do or be able to know in their journey from clueless, want to be an author but don't know how to go about it, to B, I know exactly what I need to do. I'm going to go off and write my book and I'm going to do really well now. So what's the next thing they need to know? They need to know how to plan their book. Why? What's the benefit? Remember, it's always benefit driven. Nothing goes into a book unless it's actually helpful to your reader. So they want to be confident about the specifics they need to cover and keep their book on track. What's the next thing they need to know? They need to know how to write their first draft quickly. Why? What's the benefit of that? So they make rapid progress. It boosts their confidence and they don't give up. We've all met that author who's been writing a book for 3 years and hardly got anywhere. It's demoralizing. So you want to get the first draft out as soon as possible because it boosts your self-esteem. And so on and so on. I'm not going to go through all of this, but you can see how most of my clients are amazed that it's actually quite simple. I say, yes, all you have to do is think about you're taking your readers from a journey from A to B. If you're a coach or a consultant, this would be very, very easy for you because chances are you do that anyway as a coach or a consultant or a mentor. Think about when someone first comes to you and they're clueless about something and they need your help. You have a set step structure that you take people through, a logical structure that takes them from A to B. It's exactly the same thing with your book. You're taking people on a journey from A, I don't know something, I don't know how to do something, to B, I feel empowered to go and do that thing. And then you use that same formula just take you all the way through. So let me give you some examples of some of my clients who used the 3-step formula, and you can just see from the kind of reviews they've got. I mean, this is a perfect review. So this is Isla Lynn, lovely lady based over in the States. And as you can see, this review says this guide takes reader from people pleaser to your true authentic self. You can actually see the A to B in that review. The A is people pleaser and B is true authentic self. This is what I mean by you almost compel people to leave reviews, because by the time they get to the end of the book, they genuinely feel like they've been on a journey with you. You've not given them any fluff. You've put them at the center of your book, not yourself. And you've always been cognizant, what do they need from me to get from A to B? Once they get to the end of the book, they just feel like, wow, I know how to do this. I know exactly what I need to do to go and achieve this. That's what compels people to leave reviews. This is Luke, who's written 2 books with me. And this one says, a wake-up call. This will not be heading to the charity shop. What a brilliant review. That's exactly. Think of how many books go to the charity shop all the time. And this is one that someone's saying they want to delve in again and again. All because Luke followed the same 3-step formula. No fluff in this book. This takes somebody from A, which is they're the sort of person who never does anything. They procrastinate. They're always overthinking, thinking, and then the opportunity's already gone. To B, they know exactly how to stop this overthinking now. They can now go and live their lives making the best decisions for themselves. They've gone from A to B, and this is why this person's left the review. This is, so everybody should have a copy of this terrific book. Give this book to everyone you know and care about. It's full of valuable information and it will save your life. What an amazing review. And again, because Tiffany, lovely lady based in Texas, she followed the 3-step formula. She knew that she was living in Texas where most people eating far too much red meat, which is ultimately killing them. And she takes them on a non-judgmental journey, explaining why their culture is like that and it's not their fault, and how to come out of that culture and start including more plant-based foods into their diet. And again, she made sure she took them from A to B. So by the time they get to the end of the book, they feel empowered and they feel like, yes, I know how to change my life. I know how to be healthier. So I hope that has given you a lot of clarity regarding what you need to do. Filter everything that you write in your book, filter through this formula. As a type of person, that's a big one. I've noticed with some people, what ends up happening is as they're writing their book, you get scope creep. And your book gets bigger and bigger and wider and starts to include everything but the kitchen sink. The reason why that's happening is you're becoming a generalist. You're trying to be everything to everybody. And that's why you end up with a book that looks like an encyclopedia. No one wants to read that. So the first thing you need to filter your entire book through is, as a type of person, is everything in this book for this type of person? If you've got loads of other stuff for other types of people, that shouldn't be in this book. I've even had some of my clients end up writing 3 or 4 different versions of their book for different audience segments. That is a better thing to do than writing one massive book for everybody that resonates with nobody. Yes, so the first thing is as a type of person. Second thing is I need to always, and this is the biggest thing, that if you don't take anything else away from today, just take this. People read these books not for fun. I feel like I want to get you all to repeat after me, but I won't do that. But these people, I'm not saying you shouldn't make your book a fun read, but they're not reading it for fun. They're reading it because they want to know or be able to do something. Always remember and filter your entire book through that. Are you helping them know or be able to do something? If you're not doing that, then you're adding fluff. You might not think it's fluff, but trust me, they'll think it's fluff. And you need to chop it out of your book. Final thing, so everything that you need to put into your book has to have a benefit to the reader. Otherwise, you're just doing it for egotistical reasons. You want to mention this in your book, so you're going to mention it in your book. You're not putting your reader first, you're putting yourself first. And I'm sure we've all read those books that just do come across as very egotistical. You don't want to come across like that. It needs to be all about the reader. Okay, so let me come out of this. I think I have a few more people. Oh, hello, Stanley. Lovely to see you. Lovely for you to join us, Alan. Hope you're doing well. Vasilius, I'm sure this is your first time. Thank you for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. And Cambria, lovely to see you again, and Harvey as well. Okay, so hello, Harvey. How are you doing? I can't see your face. But it's okay if you're indisposed and you'd rather not. It's absolutely fine as well.
I'll try to do my video.
Yes, yes. I love seeing your face. That's why.
Hello again. Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. Just back from holidays, so I'm back.
That's why you've got that glow. I can see the glow. So yeah, that's what having a few days away does for you. Okay, so let me just have a look at some of the comments in the chat because you've been quite busy. So Cambria's saying, I want to help change the world through the power of my activism, primarily poetry. Okay, so poetry is different, Cambria. Okay, with poetry, you can be a little bit, dare I say the word, egotistical, because people are interested in that. They want to know a little bit more about you. If you think about the best poets, they kind of leave their soul on paper, really, don't they? So that is very, very different. So you can still use the 3-step formula, but you can be far more lenient with a Cambria. Please do still consider your reader, and I know you will. I know you, Cambria. You're a very kind lady, so I know you would naturally do that. So you can still use the 3-step formula, but don't stick to it like glue, because with poetry, there is an expectation that you're wanting to understand the soul of that poet. So you have a little bit more leeway. But these kinds of books that my clients do, absolutely not. The reader must always be at the center of your book. They should always be at the center of your book. Okay. Nish says that this is the extra template for user stories. Oh,
I'll take that offline with you. Sorry, it was a private message. I did say I weren't interested. Sorry for that.
Yes, please do. I've not heard of the Connextra template for user stories. Oh, so you mean like case studies and that sort of thing?
No.
It's a different thing. Okay, we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, that's interesting that it's being used elsewhere. But I had a funny feeling it could be used elsewhere as well. So
my question probably that I did want to ask is, how does this work for non-fiction? I know this is a fiction forum, so if
no, this is a non-fiction forum.
That's right, a non-fiction forum. Yeah.
The other way around.
Indeed, I'm tired. Sorry. How does it work for fiction?
Like poetry, in that you can still use it, in that you still do want to consider your reader, absolutely, but you don't need to stick to it as much, because I assume you're talking in terms of children's books, because that's
exactly. Yeah, indeed.
So you do still, because if you think about it, you still need to know, because children is like, it's such a wide range. You need to, what a 4-year-old needs is completely different to what a 7-year-old needs, which is very different to what an 11-year-old needs. So yeah, you do still need to consider it, but children are reading for fun. That's the big difference.
But it sounds like it's still got merit in that to try and be more super focused on the type of audience would be beneficial. Is that fair to say?
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Okay.
I've never written children's books before. I need to actually put you in touch with a few children's authors who will be able to help you. I'm not the best. I don't want to give you advice that I wouldn't be able to stick by myself. It just doesn't feel ethical. My experience is all non-fiction books for adults, and it's specifically not even just all kinds of non-fiction books, but books designed to turn somebody into a thought leader. That's essentially what it is. So with children's books, I honestly don't know. I would think so, that targeting, in my experience, targeting just seems to work. As soon as you narrow down, I think the reason why people are scared of targeting, I know I've done this in my business before, because you kind of think, if you, I should use a non-vegan, this is not a vegan version, but I can't think of a vegan version of this. You kind of want to cast your net out wide. There's this idea that if I just cast my net out wide, I'll get the biggest number of fish.
Okay.
The opposite happens. and this actually does go into my veganism as well. You end up trolling everything. You're like you're trolling, dolphins and all sorts, and it's like it's just terrible what happens. No, you shouldn't be doing that. So ideally, you shouldn't be fishing at all. But that's just my beliefs. But you can see where I'm coming from. It's what actually focusing yields better results than trying to cast your net out wide. So that makes me think that it probably would work within the children's book world, but I'm not 100% sure, because that is a world I'm very, very unfamiliar with, Nish. So I'm sorry I can't answer.
No, I actually think you have answered. I think you actually have answered it, because my gut feel is that it works for fiction and non-fiction. You just have to apply the dosage differently, that's all. But it seems to be.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. And I do know that there's now what a lot of fiction authors do is because they have access to, I even know one fiction author where she uses, I've forgotten the name of the tool. It's a tool which she's able to see what are the best keywords being searched for on particular books on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And then she will write to that genre. So she uses it as a way to actually see what's trending at the moment. She writes mostly historical romance fiction, which to me is a genre in itself, but she tells me that's an umbrella genre, and there's like about 20 other genres within that genre, which kind of blows my mind a little bit. It's like, how many kinds of historical romance fiction can there be? But apparently there's over 20 of them. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know. But yeah, that's what she does. And she will actually see what's trending, and then she will write books on what is trending. So there is elements of that, but this is a world that I'm completely, it's alien to me, I'll be honest with you, Nish. It's not something I know a lot of.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Any other ideas or any other questions? Have I studied? Oh, hello, Cambria. Yes.
I'm so happy to hear you and Nish speak of that topic, because once I move from poetry, one of my next books is definitely going to be a children's book. And then I have a science fiction that becomes reality book too. So
science fiction to reality. That definitely sounds like up my street. Not in what I do, but what I read personally. I tend to read a lot of science fiction that's based a few years from now.
Real quick, this is it in short. We start off in a dystopia like we are currently, which becomes a utopia, which crumbles back into a dystopia, which finally becomes a veganic protopia.
Wow.
That's my idea. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, you'll read it then?
Absolutely, I'll read it. And I can put you in touch with a lady based here in the UK who's written 3 science fiction books for young adults. So I'll put you in touch with her, because she might be able to give you ideas.
I love Philip Pullman. He's one of my favorite authors of all time, Philip Pullman.
Oh, yes.
His Dark Materials, that trilogy. Wow. So anyway, that's one of my main influences, I would say.
Fantastic. Well, I'll put you in touch with this lady that I'm thinking of. And hopefully she'll be able to guide you and give you some help, Cambria. But that sounds fantastic.
Yay, thank you so much, sweetheart. Appreciate you.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, so do I have any more questions? Or before I do, let me show you. I think most of you actually, we've had a meeting, but I know there's a couple of new people in here. So if you do have a book idea, one thing I'm really, really passionate about doing is making sure people have the right book ideas. What I tend to see is people kind of get an idea and they run with it. And sometimes it's not the best idea. By the way, I'm talking about non-fiction here. If you're talking about children's books or fiction, I'm not the best person to speak to, because I read them, not children's books so much, but definitely I read, fiction books, but I've never written fiction in my entire life. None of my clients have written fiction, so I have no experience on that. So I couldn't help you there. But if you are planning on writing a non-fiction book, specifically one you're wanting to write for your business, your brand, your non-profit, because you're wanting to help more people and get your mission out there, then I'd love to speak to you, because I can go through and analyze whether it's a good book idea. And if it is, it's great, because it means that we can discuss how you make this a reality. If it isn't, well, at least you're not going to waste loads of time and energy and possibly money on an idea that's not going to win. And also, it means that we can brainstorm better ideas. So you can go away from me thinking, right, now I do know what I can do. Yes, Cambria, you wanted to say something?
I also write in the realm of nonfiction, veganic facts.
Yes.
And I want to get a nonprofit going called Friends of the Land, Air and Sea, which will combine, it's an umbrella. I have a mind map for it drawn out. But what it is in short is an umbrella grouping for all other animal rights, environmental groups, and humanitarian aid groups, all combined into an app and a website, so that there's a clear path of communication for all these different organizations that already exist.
Yeah. God, you're going to be very busy, Cambria, though, because
for the rest of my life, but I'm dying when I'm on.
You've got a science fiction book, you now have this non-fiction. I have a feeling you need to concentrate on one and make sure that becomes a reality.
So that's why I'm doing that exact thing, and it's my poetry first.
Good. Focus on that, and make, because I know it's like you're just one of these brilliant people, Cambria. Your brain's just sparking off in so many different directions.
Oh, too much.
Fantastic.
Sometimes.
That's it.
Thank you.
That's exactly what my brain happens, and I've had to learn to just go, okay. I don't know if this will help you, but I even have like a paper pad next to my bed, and I have a paper pad. And have a paper pad next to my toilet as well. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm sat on the field and I have my best ideas. So what I'll do is I'll write them down. I'll write down my ideas, but then I'll put them away. It's like, those are my ideas for the future. I need to focus on the one thing that I'm doing now. Otherwise, you just end up.
I do the same. Honestly, I am doing the same there. But I've been writing poetry since I was 10 years old, and I'm 43. So I have a large body of work, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Definitely get those out there first. Get those out there.
I shall, my friend. I shall.
So let me show you all how to, if I just go, here we go. Just go back to here. Okay, so you can all see this. Let me show you how to book a call with me. Oh, first of all, this is just a small selection of my Hall of Fame. So these are the kinds of things that my clients want to do. They want to work with influencers. They want to get into media. They want to get on TV. Or some of them have smaller hopes. They don't want to be in front of a camera. But what they do want to do is use their book to gain strategic partners. I've even had a number of clients being able to attract investors into their business. So it's all about getting your ideas, your thoughts, your values and mission out there in a big way. And that's the kind of books we help you do. So in a book idea audit, it's 45 minutes. And what we will do is we'll do a deep dive. First of all, we will do an audit of your book ideas to make sure they will be successful. Okay, I'm brutally honest. I have told people they've had rubbish ideas in the past, but I do it out of love. I do it because I don't want them to spend time and energy and money on something that isn't going to work for them. So I will audit your book ideas, however many you have, and I'll be able to tell you which one is good. If none of them are good, we will brainstorm and find what is the best book idea for you. And then part two, once we've done that, we'll look at what process will help you succeed. So that may not be working with me. It could be working with me, but it may not be. It could be that somebody else is more suitable. I'm pretty well connected within the publishing world. So if it's not something for me, just what I did before, when I was speaking to you and I was saying, to Cambria, well, I couldn't help you with the science fiction book. However, I do know an amazing author of a trilogy of science fiction books. I can put you in touch with her and she might be able to guide you. So it could be that it's not best that you work with me, but there's somebody else that I can think of that I can signpost you to. So let me show you how you can book one of those. So all you have to do, let me put this into the chat now. didn't mean to stop sharing, so let me start sharing again. Here we go. So you will come once you click on this link. I know many of you have already had calls with me, which has been great. I've also got Stanley, who's already a client, and looking forward to getting him started. But for those of you who haven't, if you just click on that link, you'll come to this page. You've got a short 5-minute video that just goes into a little bit more detail what you'll cover. So do actually go through that. And then you just come here and you just book some time. It's pretty simple. You know how this works. You've all used Calendly before. So you just pick a time and date, put in your details, and then it'll go into my diary as well as yours, and we can have a chat. So do make sure, if you do have a book idea, but you're just not sure whether it's got legs, book yourself in for a book idea audit. And trust me, by the end of 45 minutes, you will know whether you've got a good idea or not. And then at least you know exactly where you're headed. Okay. Right, so let me just come out of this. Any final questions or thoughts? Have I stunned you all into silence now? I must have done.
I just want to say that I have only 5-star reviews on my.
You do, of course you do, Henry Cameron.
And I'm very pleased about that.
Good, because I know you put a lot into your book, Henry Cameron, so I'm glad that people are receiving it the way it should be received. So, and you've put a lot into it. I know you've put a lot into it.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm encouraging people to not only if they buy it on Amazon, even if they don't buy it on Amazon, this is something I found out. You don't have to have bought the book there in order to leave a review. Same on Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
People can leave reviews not having bought the books there. Goodreads is another great place to ask people to leave review. Those are the 3. And then what I do is I take them and I put them on my website for the book.
Oh, so look at that. Ninja Tactics.
5-star reviews are there. So,
absolutely true. You definitely want to do that. You know, that's the other thing that people don't really repurpose reviews. You can repurpose reviews. Yeah. In fact, let me actually show you. Let me show you something. So your book is your book on Amazon, Henry Cameron?
It is.
It is. Okay. So let me show you something that I did on, let me just go into Amazon. And this is something that a mentor told me about, and I didn't even realize this was a thing. So something you could do, and I don't know if you've done this, is you can actually take some of the reviews that you've got and actually put it into here, because sometimes people don't go all the way down to look at reviews, because your reviews can tend to be at the bottom.
Good
idea. But you don't take just literally take the most distinct, the really powerful lines. So as you see, it's like this one is a really powerful line. It's like, it's not one of those business books where you're left missing the how. Matala gives it all the way. I did it and I've experienced 1,000 times ROI. I mean, that's amazing. So, you know, I just took that. I mean, her actual review was about, 6 or 7 lines, but that was the most powerful line. Todd says it's the only book you need to transform your life. His actual review was several lines, but that was the most powerful line. So you just take the most powerful line. But again, because people are always going to read this bit, because that's the main bit where they're figuring it
what
out.
What do you call that? The description of your book, or the?
Yeah, that's the description.
Okay, thank you.
That's in the description. Yeah. That's actually, this is an extra tip as well. Something I've noticed that people don't do is they don't realize that the description, you should treat it as a sales page. Look how much space you get. And most people have got like 5 lines in their description. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, because not only can this be a sales page, and as you can see, I'm using things like bullet points. I'm using things like bolding. Here we go. I'm using underline. People are not using these things. But the other thing is, the more you're actually putting into here about what your book is, you're making your book more findable. That's not a word, but I've just made it up. But there you go. You're making your book more findable on Amazon.
Yeah.
So you're putting in things like, the actual keywords, and you're putting them in several times, which means that people are just searching for your book. They end up on this book. So really do make use of it. Look how much space I've got in description. And I think even then I hadn't actually maxed it out. I probably could have put more stuff in, but I just couldn't be bothered to put any more stuff in. But do use that. But yeah, this is something that a mentor of mine told me, said, get just 3 or 4 of just the lines from the reviews, the most powerful lines, and put them in here, because it means the people who don't even get all the way down to your reviews, they're still getting, well, what's this called? Social proof. That's what it is. They're getting social proof.
Yeah.
But yeah, do that. But yeah, I also do that on I do that on my website as well. So if I show you on my website, I don't actually use my own so much. And this is the problem when you're a book publisher. You're more proud of your clients than you are of your own book. So you don't really bother with your own book. You end up putting, but you see this is all of my clients' books.
Great.
And it's important. Yeah, a lot of people just, I'm glad you said that, Henry Cameron. A lot of people just kind of, the reviews, you just sit on Amazon, and it's like, yeah, but you can repurpose those reviews on your website, on your description of your Amazon, repurpose it everywhere. So people, because this is social proof.
Right. Well, the other thing I've done is I've made a banner for my social media.
Mm-hmm.
The banner that I put on my LinkedIn, the banner I put on my Facebook.
Yeah.
I just made it in Canva with an image of my book cover and just, general information. But then I took out keywords from the reviews: inspiring, well written, and I filled it with that, so that's another place. And it's my face, right? I mean, when they go to my LinkedIn, when they go to my Facebook or other socials, the banner that they see is my book. They know that I am an author. They know that it's out there. They know that it's available. When they meet me, that's front and center who I'm.
I love
putting
that.
myself out
I
there.
love that. Yeah, it's all about repurposing things. Someone says something great about you, don't just leave it in one place. Make sure you plaster it everywhere. Some of the reviews of my clients' books are on my LinkedIn profile as well. So it's another place you can repurpose reviews that you get. Like I said, I tend to use my clients' profile, my clients' reviews that they've got rather than my own book because of what I do. But in everybody else's case, unless you're doing something like me and you're helping people write books, you use the reviews of your own book. But make sure, another thing, it frustrates me when I don't know another author on LinkedIn. And it's like, why have you not got author on your profile? In fact, even better, why isn't there a picture of your book somewhere on your LinkedIn profile? So you're an author, you should be proud of that. So really make sure, it's all about, at the risk of saying I must say, I love how our American cousins are good at this. They're very good at self-promotion. I think being Europeans, we kind of like go a little bit like, oh, we shouldn't. We kind of need to a little bit, once you've got this amazing book, you really have to just get it out there and say, look at this amazing book, look at the amazing reviews that I'm getting from it. You kind of do have to be a little bit salesy and put yourself out there.
Well, and October, I found out today, is self-promotion month.
Is
it? So get out there, everybody.
So October is self-promotion month?
It is.
Or is it international, or is it?
Well, it is now.
It is. I bet it was the US. Awesome. I'm convinced the US probably invented it, but now
probably. I have no idea. I've never heard of it before, but I'm leveraging that. Hey, everybody. I'm putting out
self-promotion month.
Yeah, I'm putting out a Facebook and social media ad saying it's self-promotion month. Help me promote myself.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
They're everywhere. Yeah, why not?
Cambria, you've got something to say?
I just love this whole conversation so much that I had to chime in and say that. And on the American cousin front, I have 8 different ancestry lines, the majority of which are European. And I've got all the British Isles, my friend. I've got Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and England in my bloodline. So anyway, very much cousins over here. And then also some Cherokee.
Wow.
Yep.
No, that's fantastic. So how do you feel about self-promotion month then?
I feel fantastic about it because I'm not an egocentric
I think it's great.
person, and I want an excuse to do what's fun, like it's good to celebrate yourself, and especially if you're trying to promote yourself, you have to be your own best cheerleader, in my opinion.
But what's even better, what I like about reviews is it's other people saying you're great, which is far more powerful.
Exactly. And then you don't have to feel embarrassed,
I
you know,
know,
like
but people still are.
like
They
I
don't want
made
to
this
put it
shit up
everywhere, and I'm
about
like,
me, you
no.
know.
Yeah, you've got to stick it everywhere, and that's why I'm a big fan of reviews, and I put reviews everywhere because I can go around saying I'm amazing, but I'd much rather other people are saying it, and then
Yeah, I'm happy to write you a review as soon as possible because
Oh.
you've offered so much value to us for free, and we poor folk appreciate that. Love you.
Oh, folk. Bless you. Thank you so much, Cambria. Really appreciate it. Okay, any final thoughts before we go? Yes, Alan.
Hello, I've been missing because I've been backwards and forwards into hospital. It's quite
That's okay.
bad.
Are you feeling better, my love? I know you haven't been well recently.
Well, I've been back down to the doctor this morning, but I'm alive. That's the main thing. I've got a great sense of humor. Okay. And that's why I'm growing my beard for the Christmas campaign. It'll be all shaved off after Christmas, but you know, I want to raise £1 million for charity, and this is part of the campaign. But I've written my life story. I know you don't cover things like that, but my life story is all about things people can learn.
Yes.
So I can't remember when I was on here last, but I talked about dividing my book into, you know, little books, 10 little books.
Yes, you did.
Could you do something like that? If I sent you my book, could you divide it up? Because I can't cope with the time. I can't see my computer. I can't see the keyboard. Everything is slowing down and I've got so much work to do.
There is somebody on my team who could do that. Where I'm reticent here, Alan, I have a great ghostwriter on my team. So she can definitely go through your book and split it into smaller books, depending on topics. You can go through and find the main topics and then strip it into different books. The thing is that because she's amazing at what she does, she charges a lot of money, which she should do. She deserves that kind of money. My biggest worry is like I remember you saying you're building a coaching business. You have programs. Is that correct? Tell me if I'm wrong, but because it's been a while since we spoke. But I'm pretty sure you were creating programs that the books will ultimately upsell into. Is that correct?
I've been teaching and coaching mindset for 63 years, but I can't do it anymore. So I've been trying to put them into programs to put on the Great Discovery, which will be sold for me. Okay, and then I'm out of coaching as such, but I'll be back in the programs. And by promoting those, I can create the money.
Yes.
Plus the public speaking and the books.
Yes.
But it's just too much for me now. So
that's definitely something we can do. The reason why I was asking those questions is I'll be honest with you, Alan, I don't think many book consultants ask as many questions as I do. For my sins, I ask too many questions. I think most people are like, well, yeah, if you've got the money, I'll take your money and I'll give you what you need. Whereas my attitude is always, but is Alan going to get return on investment in the future? I don't want to be taking, for example, £5,000 off you now if I can't be assured that within a year's time, not only have you made your money back, but you're making a profit. So that's why I was asking those questions, because I know you've been quite ill recently. I know that, you know, you haven't had the funds coming in to, you know, into your lifestyle. So I was just worried. And that's my biggest fear, because using a ghostwriter, you're looking at several £1,000s for someone like that. And we're more than happy to work with you, Alan, but I need to be assured that you have the infrastructure. And this, what I mean by infrastructure is you have those speaking engagements, your courses are up and running and they're getting attention. People are booking onto them. I need to make sure, what's the best way to describe it? A book, I always see a book as a catalyst. It's not the fire starter. I wish it was a fire starter, it'd be amazing, but it's not. What I find with books are, if you've already got the fire going, if I then help you write an amazing book, the fire explodes. But the fire needs to have gotten started already. It can't start a fire by itself. Yeah. So that's why I'm wanting to make sure that the infrastructure is ready for you to spend money working with someone on my team to make sure your books are done to a very, very high degree. Does that make sense? Okay. So we just kind of just wanted to look out for you, Alan, and make sure the courses, for example, I know your courses are going to be amazing, but even amazing courses sometimes don't get the traction that they deserve because they haven't been marketed correctly. So that's another key thing, how you're marketing these courses. I just need to be assured, because I know you've had quite a difficult time of it of late. I need to make sure that if I'm going to take any money off you, Alan, I need to be assured that you're going to make a ton of money back in return. Otherwise, I feel very uncomfortable working with someone if I can't be assured they're not going to get a great return on investment.
Right. Well, the program should eventually be in 7 different languages and sold to 200 different countries, but they're sold for me. So the affiliates on the program, on the platform, earn money by selling. They can sell any programs. So hopefully they will just sell my programs for me.
Okay. Okay, well, let's talk some more about this. Let's talk some more about this. And I just need to be, I always only take on people where I feel they're going to get great return on investment in money, in hard money, because a lot of people talk about, you know, return on investment in terms of feeling like you've left a legacy and all, and those things are incredibly important. But I'm a very straight down the line kind of woman, and I want to make sure that if someone gives me £10, I'm giving them back £20 or more. So that's just how my brain works. I need to make sure that that's there.
Okay, thank you.
Let's talk again, Alan. Let's talk more about this. I do have someone on my team who will be able to help you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, right, we're going well over time now, but thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys please do use that 3-step formula with everything that you do. It really, really does help because it allows you to just completely defluff everything. You know, you cannot put anything into your book or anything. You can actually use the 3-step formula for writing an article or writing a business plan or writing anything really. It allows you to stay on track. You focus on who the piece of content is for. You then make sure what is it that they need from you. They always need something from you. And then the final thing is, what benefit do they get from it? If they don't get any benefit, do not put it in. It's just fluff that you're adding in for the sake of it. So it's a very powerful formula for allowing you to stay on track. So I hope it's really, really helped you. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to stick around for a little bit longer with Nish because Nish needs to speak to me, but I will see the rest of you hopefully at a future forum. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. Another year older.
It's your birthday. Happy
It was
birthday,
on Friday.
beautiful.
Thank you, Cambria.
Oh,
It was on Friday.
Extra wishes to you, belated style.
I order your book on your birthday. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Ordered my book on my birthday. That's exactly what I need.
Have you got Audible available or not?
Not yet. I'm actually so this is actually quite exciting, Harvey. So I am playing around with a new AI software that's able to clone my voice and then do my book for me. Wow. I have no idea whether it's going to be any good, which is why I'm using myself as a test subject. And then if it's good, I can then talk to all of you guys about it. And then because at the moment, going into a studio and doing it professionally, you're talking about at least £3,000 to £5,000, which is beyond what most people can do. But this will bring it into £800–900. Less than £1,000, and you could have a professional studio quality podcast. Sorry, not podcast, audiobook.
Oh, that'd be great.
Watch this space. Watch this space. That I'm testing the software when I have time. And if it lives up to my expectations, then I will talk to you all about it.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Harvey. See you very soon.